Hello everyone, I'm Meteorologist Charlie Ironmonger. Thank you so much for joining me today for your 11 a.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. Now, before we get to our news stories, we do need to highlight we've got our first hurricane of the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season. Hurricane Erin now has maximum sustained winds of 75 miles an hour, gusts up to 90 miles an hour, with pressure falling from 998 millibars earlier this morning, now down to 996 millibars. That pressure drop again indicative of an increasingly powerful tropical system. Right now it's moving west at 18 miles an hour. And we'll take a look at the updated track from the National Hurricane Center. Again, it's a system that will continue to project a push of water out ahead of it, as it kind of right now is projected to split both Hatteras and Bermuda. Great news for us in that, again, that track is curling a little bit closer to Bermuda than towards us. However, those of you who may have plans to head to the coast next week, maybe trying to get one last beach week in before the start of school, you need to understand that rip current threats are going to be high for all south and southeasterly facing beaches starting Tuesday, and we'll see all eastern North Carolina beaches really see a high rip current threat by the time we get to Wednesday. It's because this is going to be a major hurricane, at least forecasted to become a major hurricane by the time we get to Sunday morning. And it doesn't stop there. Sunday morning at 8 a.m., 125 mile an hour maximum sustained winds. That's expected to go up to 140 mile an hour maximum sustained winds the following morning, coming up on Monday, making it a Category 4 hurricane. Now, it may weaken a little bit as it moves northward, but the waves generated from this system are again going to be traveling out ahead of it, and they are going to be crashing along our coastline, increasing again, not just rip current threats, but wave heights. There's going to be high surf. Beach erosion will be an issue, and the potential for ocean overwash certainly coming down with, again, that latest updated track, keeping the system a little bit further off of our coast than what previous tracks had hinted towards. So good news in that regard, but again, beach erosion is certainly going to be an issue with a major hurricane passing between Hatteras and Bermuda. Just for perspective, the distance between Hatteras and Bermuda is about 550 miles. So this thing is essentially going to be passing about within 250 miles of our coastline, hopefully 300. But again, always anticipate the worst, but hope for the best, and make sure, again, those hurricane kits are packed and ready to go. Maybe not for Erin, but we're going to have potentially another system certainly try to threaten eastern North Carolina by the time the whole season is all said and done. Right now, we also have our eyes on an area of concern in really the western Gulf. Right now, it's just south of Brownsville, Texas, sitting in the Gulf. A lot of moisture and thunderstorm activity associated with that area of concern. Over the next 48 hours, has a 50% chance of tropical development. Over the next 7 days, that also holds at a 50% chance. Now, rain showers along the Outer Banks this morning are gradually starting to clear up. We haven't seen much on the north side of the Outer Banks, but certainly around Ocracoke, things have been certainly damp, and we've heard a few rumbles of thunder. Current air temperatures right now reading in the upper 70s to mid 80s. We've got 84 degrees in Swan Quarter, Elizabeth City, and Edenton. Right now, Stumpy Point again showing 88 degrees, but Stumpy Point has been significantly higher than its surrounding areas for the past several days, so kind of throwing a big old grain of salt onto that 88-degree air temperature, and I'd assume it's more likely closer to around maybe 84, 85 degrees, maybe a touch cooler than what we're showing. But again, the point being is that we're really not looking at extreme heat today, albeit the humidity is still fairly high. Most of eastern North Carolina currently experiencing a dew point between the mid-70s to the upper 70s, right? Kind of stopping at around that 80-degree mark. Edenton right now at 81-degree dew point. It's come down, though, from where we were yesterday, and that is encouraging. A big reason why it has come down is the area of low pressure that's kept the Outer Banks wet so far this morning is producing more of a north to northeasterly breeze across the east. It's light, but the consistent nature of that wind is helping us quite a bit. Again, forcing that humidity to be a little bit lower than what we were looking at 24 hours ago. Now, when we zoom the picture out a little bit further, you can see there's that low pressure system off of our coast. It's going to continue to scoot its way further and further off into the Atlantic. It will still be close enough on Saturday morning to produce not only cloud cover, but an opportunity for maybe a few rain showers. And then as we head into Sunday, it's going to pull far enough away, but still maintain that northerly breeze over eastern North Carolina to help lower not just your humidity, but your overnight lows into the upper 60s. That is going to feel spectacular as we wrap up the weekend. Saturday night into Sunday morning, 68 degrees. Of course, we'll follow that 68-degree reading up with a 90-degree reading Sunday afternoon and again on Monday afternoon. But the point being, whenever you get those overnight lows in the 60s, this time of year in the month of August or even July, you notice a difference the following day. You notice that difference in the humidity as you step out your door. Once again, we hit those mid to upper 60s. So that certainly is encouraging. Also, of course, I want to highlight the fact that we are keeping an eye on that rough surf with Aaron starting on Tuesday. Some areas, again, may see the rough surf really start to roll in late Monday evening, but I think most of our southeasterly facing beaches really going to notice that impact coming up on Tuesday, and it will last all the way through Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and potentially even Sunday of the following weekend. Now, of course, we do have some news to bring to you as far as swimming goes. In Dare County, there's been a water quality alert. A swimming advisory has been issued for an area at Jockey's Ridge on the Soundside access in Nags Head. Now, North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality says bacteria levels in water samples taken from the site exceed the state and federal standards. Now, the department is urging people to avoid swimming in the area due to increased risk of gastrointestinal illness or skin infections. State officials will continue testing the site and will remove posted signs and update the public when bacteria levels fall below the standards. Now, officials also want to remind visitors that the advisory is for waters within 200 feet of the sign. The advisory does not mean the entire beach is closed. Now, of course, sticking with the theme of weather, we want to turn to the heavy rain we had yesterday and really saw heavier rain across parts of Raleigh, where some thunderstorms again led to downed trees and quite a few drivers getting stranded. Now, up to 2 inches of rain fell within an hour in Raleigh and nearby Cary. A large tree fell on Western Boulevard, coming down on an SUV with a family inside. The back window of the vehicle was smashed and there was damage to the front bumper, but the family appeared to be uninjured after the crash. Now, multiple vehicles were also stranded in the area as roads became flooded. Police were on hand to close down some of those roadways. Other vehicles were stranded along I-40 near Cary as floodwaters caused some drivers to hydroplane and slide off of the highway. That's all we have time for today's 11 a.m. news and weather update from the First Alert Desk. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful end of your Friday. If I don't see you again, hopefully you have a wonderful weekend. But we'll be back here on the First Alert Desk coming up at the top of the hour. Until then, hope you all have a great Friday.